Hey everybody, I hope all is well. Today I'm coming on to talk about pressing harder and to pivot. Pivot is just a change of direction or just a reconstruction of whatever you're working on. And in this building season, I did a post talking about building of the ark. I just went straight into y'all. If you don't know who I am Sierra. This is Pioneer Woman with Sierra. God gave me this network, this vision to talk about wealth, to advance His kingdom. So this is a channel that's going to involve whether a prophetic word, something that God gives me as a rhema word, or just teaching and coming together as the body of Christ and community. So if you're new here, welcome. If you have been here before, welcome back. Thank you for joining me on this journey as a pioneer woman. And as you're on your journey, if you're led to this channel, you are a pioneer as well. And subscribe if you haven't already. So what I'm coming on just to briefly talk about is to press in. And when we're pressing in, some things may not look like the results of what you're putting in, the effort you're putting in, but you have no idea or no visual of sight of what's really happening, right? When you're building muscle in the gym, when you're working out, that progress or that process doesn't show the outcome right away. Though the effort is building up, everything that you're doing, it is producing something, and you may not see it right then and there, but that press in, you are having an outcome, right? You're having an outcome. So I just thank God for allowing me to see the vision of what He's doing in the earth in people's lives, and all of the things that He's doing in me, because it's one thing to see the outcome, but the press in is also the pressing within yourself, right? The pressing within whoever you currently are and what God is pruning out of you. He is getting rid of things that cannot go into that next season, cannot continue to press on, right? Because when you're building muscle, something gotta go, and we know that's the fact. It has to go. The things that's holding you back, the things that weighs you down, whatever is no longer needed or necessary for that next season, or just whatever God is putting on your heart to do next in that pivot. And that pivot may not necessarily mean fully putting down something like business or anything like that, but more so the strategy. It's more so the strategy in pivoting, because if it's something that had made work in the last year or whatever in the past, it may be something that you need to do different in order to grow. It's something else that you need to prepare for in a different way, and just pivoting. And I was talking to someone yesterday in a meeting, and I was like, the pivot is real. Listen, the pivot is real, because if you are not pivoting in this time, you are still going around the same block. You are still doing the same thing, and that isn't to cancel out whatever God has you doing. Even if it is the same thing, He can still bless you, and that makes something be within your obedience, because obedience is better than sacrifice. So whatever God leads you to do in this time, it's good to hear His voice, no matter who live you jump on, no matter who page or person that you're engaged with. You always want to hear the voice of God and know His direction, to be obeying His voice. And when I read so much of the word, understanding when you hearken unto His voice, because we read about Deuteronomy 28, all the blessings, but it's also curses there. And it's not because he wanted those things to be on those people's lives. He wanted them to have the blessings option. But when we read and say and declare, I'm the head and not the tail, I'm above and not beneath, I'm the lender and not the borrower, God has a condition with that. God's love, yes, is unconditional. He loves the world. He so loved the world, he gave his only one and only begotten Son to die for us. In that same sense, do not take it for granted, and to hearken unto his voice so that you can avoid the direction that he does not want you to go on, the path that he doesn't want you to follow. Because it's easy to look at one thing and think that it's something for you, but it may not be for you. It doesn't mean that it's bad, it just may not be good for you. And even when things look good, it may be bad. So when you hear God's voice and really take the time to hearken to his voice, then he'll be able to save you from torment, from sin, from different directions that don't serve the purpose that he put in you. So when you pivot and press in, you're going to come up against some type of something. I'm not going to put a name to it. I'm not going to say how good or how bad or easy it's going to be or hard, because everybody's journey is different, and whatever press in that you have to go through or do, you have to have your own battle. Something that's easy for me to get through may kill somebody else, and something that, because God doesn't give us more than what we can bear, nor will he allow the devil to go so far like Job to where he kills him. So we have our own battle, we have our own journey as a pioneer, because you're a pioneer if you're watching this channel and you're engaged in this journey with me. You will have to press in. Do not give up. If you got to take your moment in the Garden of Gethsemane and cry or whatever you need to do, do it. But you get back up. You keep going. You keep pressing in and ask God, what does your pivot look like? Like, Lord, what does my pivot look like? Father, what does our pivot look like in this season? And what should we be writing down? What is the planning that we should do so that we're not just out here blind? And yes, faith is without sight, but in the same sense, we rely on the sight of God, and whatever he wants us to see, that's what we need to be seeing, right? And whatever we need to do in obedience, that's what we need to do. So that's all. Just jumping on really quick to share that. Press in and pivot. Press in and pivot. I'll say it one more time. Press in and pivot. All right. I love y'all. Peace, blessings. Have an amazing rest of your week and weekend. If you catch the replay, enjoy the rest of your life, because God is giving us abundance, right? Life and life more abundantly. All right. Peace, y'all.